Hello friends, in this video I am going to take you thousands of years back in the history of incredible India, which is none other than the existence of one of the oldest civilizations in the world called the Tamil civilization. According to archaeological evidences, it has a language called Tamil, a 5,000 years old language, and is spoken by 76 million people at present all over the world. The people of Tamil Nadu belong to the prestigious Dravidian family, and the Dravidians of Tamil country were once a part of the Indus Valley settlers and moved south after the advent of the Aryans around 1500 BC. However, the recorded history of human civilization in Tamil Nadu goes back to the 4th century BC, which was the age of literature creation, popularly known as Sangam Age. The Sangam literature has several references to the social, economic and cultural life of the people in this part of the Tamil country. During the year 2019, a major turning point happened in the cultural historiography of the ancient Sangam Age, when the Tamil Nadu Archaeology Department has stated for the first time that the cultural deposits unearthed during excavations at Keeladi in Sivagangai district near Madurai could be safely dated to a period between 6th century BC and 1st century AD. Carbon dating of charcoal found at the Keeladi site in February 2017 established that the settlement there belonged to 2000 BC and proved that urban civilization had existed in Tamil Nadu since the Sangam age. Besides, the close proximity of the sea put the Tamil country on the maritime map of the world even before the dawn of the Christian era. Over a period of time, the Tamils developed trade links with ancient Greece, Egypt and Rome. Due to its geographical and strategic location, Tamil Nadu remained a bone of contention for political supremacy among the different dynasties. Prior to the Christian era, the Cheras, Cholas and the Pandyas ruled the Tamil country. And it is important to mention here that Madurai was an important city of Tamils and Tamil Academy was flourished here as well. Since the geographical location of Tamil Nadu was fortunate to have large natural harbours, it led to the maritime activities of the land with Java, Sumatra, China, Persia, Ceylon, Babylonia, Greece and Rome. The kings of these three dynasties established foreign trades with numerous foreign empires, and there are lots of evidences to show that Tamil Roman trade in ancient times lived for centuries without break. Yes, our Tamil rulers had business relationships with the mighty Roman Empire, which was the biggest empire of the world during that period. There are several ancient coins which provide evidences of all these events. For example, the Greek historian Nicholas of Damascus has documented his meeting with an ambassador sent by the Pandyan king to the Roman Emperor Augustus Caesar. The domains of the dynasties of Cheras, Cholas and Pandyas changed many times over the centuries, and the most remarkable aspect of these rulers was a patronage to literature, architecture, arts and crafts. Most of these rulers paid a steady patronage to various parts that expedite the expansion of Dravidian culture. But the glorious Sangam period began to decline due to the intervention of Calabras, and they ruled from 300 AD to 600 AD. This period is considered to be dark, for which there are no reliable source materials, and it is also called as the age of complete destruction. Many conflicts occurred between the Calabras and Tamil kings during this period. Finally, there was a decline of Calabras, which led to the domination of Pallavas, and they occupied the throne from 600 to 900 AD. The literary sources throw much light on the Pallava rulers, the generals, the feudatories, the saints, and the development of art and architecture of this period. Kanjipuram was the capital of the Pallava kingdom, and the rulers like Mahendravarman and Narasimhavarman encouraged the artists to construct the temples and replace the old temples with innovative rock sculptures and architecture. The period of medieval Tamilagam spans from the 9th to 14th centuries, and during this period too, the rich tradition of literature, music and dance which were supported by Tamil rulers continued to flourish in Tamil country. Tamilagam challenged the authorities of neighboring states under the imperial Cholas. The rule of Rajaraja Chola and Rajendra Chola witnessed one of the progressive periods in the history of Tamilagam. The Chola Empire extended to the central Indian states like Orissa and parts of West Bengal. Rajendra Chola went beyond occupying the islands of Andaman and Nicobar, Lakshadweep, Java, Sumatra, Malaya and the islands of Pegu with his fleet of ships. But the weak successors of Rajendra Chola led to the establishment of Chalukya Chola rule and later on led to their downfall with the rise of Hoysalas in the north and the revival of the Second Pandyan Empire during the beginning of 13th century. The civil war and the invasion of Muslims greatly undermined the prestige and power of the Cholas, and the Pandyas also lost their historical capital city of Madurai to the Madurai Sultanate in 1335. But the medieval period in the history of Tamil country saw a huge development in all aspects. Tamilagam flourished like never before, and the temples were built using the Dravidian style of architecture, which establishes the pomp and glory of the region during this period. Tamilagam, which had a cherished history of its own till the middle of 14th century, began to be dominated by the foreign powers. Most of them were the rulers of Vijayanagar, Nayaks, Marathas, Muslims and the British. The Madurai Sultanate was replaced by Nayak governors of Vijayanagar in 1378. In 1529, the Nayak governors declared their independence and established the Nayak dynasty. The independent Nayaks administered Tamil Nadu with Madurai, Tanjavur and Senji as their capitals. Even the Nayaks had showed much interest in the growth of art and architecture, and Madurai Meenakshi Amman temple is the best example which symbolizes the architectural beauty. Following the Nayaks, the Maravas played an important role in the history of 17th and 18th century Tamilagam. The Sedubadis of Ramnad were known as Maravas, and they were warlike people and never inclined to subjection to any authority. The Marathas ruled the most fertile areas of Tanjavur from 1676 to 1856, but most of the rulers were autocrats, and they were inefficient, and political unrest became the order of the day. Besides these, Tanjavur was frequently affected by foreign invasions, civil wars, famines and floods. So the people faced untold miseries, and the records of the Christian missionaries available in Madras reveal these facts. Besides all these, after Aurangzeb undertook the Deccan campaign in 1681, the newly conquered tracts in the Carnatic was made into a permanent Nawab with the headquarters in Orkot. Therefore, the Nawabs of Orkot were constituted to look after the political unity and the economic benefits of the South Indian territories conquered by Aurangzeb. Though all these were happening, the one thing which was missing in India on the whole was the unity, which led to the political instability among the native rulers of Tamil Nadu as well. Because of this lack of unity, the gravest thing happened to India was that of European colonization, which ruined India for a period of 200 years, converting the land from one of the richest to one of the poor regions of the world. Thus, at the end of the 16th century, British East India Company first came in India, and because of the lack of unity amongst the Indian rulers, all the big and small things perished in front of the British East India Company, which used the divide and rule policy. Tamil Nadu was also a witness to the struggle between the colonial powers, in which the British came out victorious. The British fought with many European powers, driving the Dutch away and reducing the French to Pondicherry. Thus, at the end of the 16th century, many European powers came in India, and because of the lack of unity amongst the Indian rulers, all the big and small things perished. After liquidating the French, the British turned against Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan to establish their political domination in Mysore. They waged 4 battles against Mysore, and these battles decided the destiny of Mysore. The unnecessary political interference of the British affected the smooth working of the palayams, chieftaincies, and the villages, and the states which stood against the company administration were suppressed and subdued. The British consolidated the South India into the Madras Presidency, and as a result, many palayams including Shivagangai, Tanjavur, Orkot, Panjalam Kuruchi, Pudukottai, etc. were brought under their administration. The policies of the British wounded and provoked the feelings of the polygarchs, which resulted in the South Indian Rebellion. The revolutionaries such as Pulithevar, Veerapandya Kattabomman and Marudu brothers boldly criticized and condemned the economic and political policies of the British. Induced by the patriotic fervour, the natives acted against the British. Thus, the nationalist movement in Tamil Nadu started in the 18th century, and the anti-colonial feeling started as early as 1806 at Vellore. The British Army found it very difficult to solve the situation, but on the contrary, the historic fort of Vellore was surrendered to the British. The period between the 18th and 19th centuries was the worst in the history of India because the British had used all the tactics and their power for just one purpose, and that was routine and robbing India out of its money and resources. The GDP of India came terribly crashing down, and all its prosperity got disappeared. As a result, in the cause of protecting India from the British, the nationalist movement got started in the region of Tamil country with unique features in the whole of India. Tamil Nadu generated a number of notable freedom fighters such as Vausi, Subramanya Shiva, Tirupur Kumaran, Vanjinathan, VVS Iyer, Bharatiyar, Rajaji, EVR Periyar, Satyamurthy, Kamaraj, Kumarasamy Raja, Pasumban Muthuramalinga Devar, and many others. And as an Indian, we have to salute their bravery and take a bow in front of them for their sacrifices. Therefore, after the lots of struggle and hustle, the independence of the country happened on 15th August 1947. Even after gaining independence, disaster was not overhead for India as she failed in the trauma of Indo-Pakistan partition. But this partition did not impact Tamil Nadu at all, and there was no violence in any region of Tamil Nadu. Therefore, it can be stated here that the proudest thing about Tamil Nadu is that there had always been an atmosphere of mutual respect between all the religions of Tamil Nadu since ancient period onwards. After independence in 1947, the Madras Presidency became the Madras state, comprising of present-day Tamil Nadu, coastal Andhra Pradesh, northern Kerala, and the southwest coast of Karnataka. In 1968, the state of Madras was renamed as Tamil Nadu, and it is also one of the states that gives due importance to its language, that is Tamil, and to its culture till this present day. The state perfectly expresses the true traditional culture, respecting all the religions, and involved herself in various celebrations by standing unique as a prestigious symbol of Indian culture and heritage. So, we need to give a great compliment for the Dravidians in preserving the Indian culture, and we must be proud that we are a member of one big Indian family. After hearing all this history, ladies and gentlemen, tell me how was your historic journey with Tamil Nadu in the comment section of my channel. I shall take your leave now, and we will be on another historic venture in the next video. Until then, share this with all your Tamil friends and give them a big help in knowing the historical heritage of the Tamil country. Thank you very much for watching. வாழ்க தமிழ், வளர்க தமிழகம்.